I never got around to talking about my experience doing security earlier this year. I had my first security gig after I completed my security courses and training around sometime in November and 2024. And I ended up getting my first gig, I want to say in January, if I'm not mistaken. And I ain't gonna lie, my experience with security kind of put a bad taste in my mouth, but I'm not gonna say security as a whole sucks. It was just the particular jobs that I was assigned. I think I got put through the wrong security company. It was just unfortunate. So I got hired through this security company. Of course, I can't say their name. They're not even that popular, but they have a little bit to their name. And when I got hired by them, it was like fast, right? It was fast. Like, I think I reached out to somebody on Indeed, and I had somebody reach back out to me, I think within that same day. They was paying $14 an hour. And usually I don't tolerate anything under 15, really under 16. 15, it's like, okay, whatever. If I just gotta take that, if there's nothing else left on the table as far as looking for a job or employment, I'll take it for the moment. But 14 is like, I just feel like it's a slap in the face, right? But anyway, so this security job was paying $14 an hour, but with it being my first security gig, I felt like, okay, you have to earn your stripes, you gotta get your foot through the door. And I seen other security jobs that were paying more, like 17 and up. But I had applied to several, but I wasn't hearing back from anybody. So, I'm fairly new. I got my security D license. That's the unarmed security. You know what I'm saying? And so this particular place reached back out to me right away. It sounded like a black dude, older black guy. Had a very common voice. Talked to me on the phone. Yeah, man, got my name, got my information. And he said, boom, I could start like pretty much tomorrow. I'm like, whoa, that was fast. Like, I thought the search for a job as far as looking for security was going to be a long time, But this particular security company, this dude was offering me a job pretty much damn near on the spot. Now, that should have been a sign of a red flag. And honestly, that doesn't even have to be a red flag. Sometimes you can get lucky like that. I've gotten lucky with other little jobs that I got hired on pretty quickly, and the job wasn't the worst in the world. And I was new to security, so I didn't really know. I don't know the red flags to look for. I didn't know what should raise an eyebrow. So I'm just like, okay, boom, I just needed a job, man. $14 an hour, whatever, boom. But let me just get to work. I just hate sitting around the house. I hate sitting around the house too long or whatever. I had been unemployed probably for about a month, damn near, at this point. And so I meet up with, not the dude that I was on the phone with, but I meet up with, I guess somebody that's kind of up under him. He's a regular security guard, but he's in charge of training newbies. And I met up with him at the site that I was supposed to go to, the post. That's pretty much the area that you're going to be guarding, doing security for. And it was like by a college campus. It was pretty much like in a complex, for college students in the area. Real laid back spot, you know what I'm saying? And I get there, and just a side note, I didn't go through the whole contract of the stuff that the job had to offer, as far as like, I know they said you gotta have, certain clothes, black pants. I did have the black pants, but I didn't go through as far as deductions and all that, and I'm gonna get to that later on. That's really what rubbed me the wrong way with this particular place. That's what threw me off. But they took so much off my first check, not to give away too much, but yeah, so anyway, so I go and meet this guy, and he pretty much opens his trunk and gives me a security shirt. You know what I'm saying? Gives me a security shirt, some generic security shirt or whatever. And I said, okay, boom, boom, you know what I'm saying? He gave me something else, I think some kind of key or something, and he just gave me a quick rundown for like 30 minutes or whatever. Really like 10 minutes, but then he stayed 30 minutes just to kind of watch me a little bit. But it was fairly easy. The job was so simple to where he didn't need to stay the whole shift to watch me operate. So it's pretty much straight to the point, man. You just stand around or whatever. And you can even have your phone out. Now, this particular job, this security place, and probably most of them, they got an app. This place had an app. You got to log into the app. We got to sign up for it. And that's how you pretty much, you log in. That's gonna keep track of your times. Now this particular place, I had to take 6 photos, right? I had to take 6 photos of the area, different angles of the area, every fucking 30 minutes. Now, I didn't think nothing of it at first. I was like, okay, like I said, I'm still under the guise of, okay, I'm still thinking like, yeah, I'm just glad to have a job. Boom, boom, boom. I'm gonna do what I gotta do. So I ain't think nothing of it. It's, oh yeah, every 30 minutes, make sure you scan them 6 photos. So let's say I'm in front of the office at the apartment place. I can take a picture of the office, and then boom, that's one picture. But then after that, when you take a picture, you gotta fill out a little report for it. Fill out a little report. It's like a scroll down list. You go to the right little options to say, it might say fire watch. That's what I was doing, pretty much, fire watch, some other shit I had to put in, and then hit enter. That's one photo, and I gotta do that again 5 more times. Like I said, 6 times total. Now that may not sound like nothing, but bro, when you have to do that every 30 minutes, bro, every 30 minutes, you know how annoying that gets. And I was at this particular place, this particular post of this site for only like a couple days. But every 30 minutes, I'm talking about from the time when I get there, I take my first set of photos, do the reports, and then I gotta, next 30 minutes go by, boom, boom, boom. Like, I would find it more reasonable if it was every hour, right? But they trying to make sure you doing your job. They trying to make sure you ain't sitting somewhere taking a nap or just super cruising on your phone, not giving a care in the world. They really like trying to make sure they got you on a leash at one point or another, because they're not out there physically watching you, which was pretty cool. You don't have somebody over there pacing back and forth, breathing down your neck, watching you like a hawk. But the way they keep tabs on you is through that app. If you ain't making no reports every 30 minutes, boom. Because I pretty much, I didn't purposely test it out, but I got kind of lazy, and I think it was at some point I wasn't taking the photos or whatever. So the dude called me. So that's how I know they was really keeping tabs on that shit in real time. He's like, hey man, look man, I gave you the job, man, because I felt like I could trust you, man. I know you're a good guy, man. He was trying to like, talk some sense, and try to get me, I guess, to get in order and do my job right. So I'm like, all right, man, my bad, man. I got you, man. He sound like a genuine dude, man. So I'm like, damn, I'm thinking to myself, damn, when I got off the phone, I'm like, damn, they really watching. So I could sometimes I'll stand in one spot. I could walk around, you want to switch it up. But like I said, every 30 minutes, you got to keep track, take them damn photos. And like I said, it may not sound like a lot, but you got to really be physically doing it to understand how annoying and frustrating it gets after a while. You got to think. And then too, I didn't even tell y'all the schedule. I went in, I think around 6, and I would get off at 8 in the morning. So then like a 14-hour schedule, something like that, if I got the math right. Yeah, man, that's what I got. My first security gig, I'm already doing like 12 plus hours. Pretty much 14-hour shifts. So think about that, 14 hours, and I'm taking pictures every 30 minutes. And not only just a picture, you got to make a little report with it, like, bruh. And then I ain't gonna lie, I was feeling a little self-conscious because I got to hold the phone up. Like I said, I got to scan different angles because they don't want the same picture of the same, they don't want 6 photos at the same spot. You got to show that you're really doing your job and, doing it thoroughly. So I'm like, all right, you know what I'm saying? So I got to hold the phone up and stuff. It's, it's people walking by, people going to the gym, out the gym, people walking in and out the office and stuff. And I might have been overthinking it, but it's like, I'm thinking like, damn, I hope I don't look like a creep. Like I'm taking photos of people and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I know some people was kind of looking at me and stuff. So I purposely, because I was wearing a hoodie at first, I'll purposely take my hoodie off so they can see my security shirt. So they could, at least assume, okay, you're doing security work. Because in my head I'm thinking like, get just girls walking by and stuff. A bunch of pretty girls too. Girls be super self-conscious about shit like that. So it's like, that's the one thing that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but I know it's part of the job, and I'm thinking like, okay, don't have anxiety over that, man. You're doing your job. So I'm just trying to grind, like, I'm saying? I'm just trying to grind, do my thing. And then, anyways, yeah, so I was only out there for a few days, and long story short, bro, when I got my first paycheck, because they ended up sending me to another site, and I had to sit outside another apartment complex. This one was actually in a gated area, kind of. But it was kind of like, I ain't gonna say it was ghetto, but it was just more rougher looking than the other spot, the college place. That place was more open and stuff, just seemed more people friendly. This other place was like a real complex where you gotta go through the gate and stuff. And this one I had to work overnight as well. But this one, all I had to do was just sit in my car. I sit in my car, which was cool. It was pretty dope. I sat in my car and yeah, I just take photos from the car. Like I said, every 30 minutes, I gotta take them 6 photos. But long story short, man, what really did it for me with it, man, I didn't get paid shack. I didn't get paid shack. I'm talking about, I'm working damn near 14 hours a day. And I didn't think nothing of it because I'm just in the mindset of like, okay, I'm trying to grind. You know, whatever I got to do, I'm going to do it. It's going to really show on my check. Yeah, it's only $14 an hour, but if I'm working 14 hours, 14-hour shifts, then, you know, I should see a little something. I'm trying to do the math in my head. Man, I got my first check, I kid you not, it was $300-something. $300-something, man. Out of, I think, like 4 days of work or something like that. But you got to think, it was 14-hour shifts. So I look at it, you know, I really look through it and stuff, and I see the deductions. I remember I brought up the deductions earlier, and that's basically what they're going to take from your check. So, like I said, I made the mistake of not completely going through the contract. The uniform shirt itself. Now, this uniform shirt, it was only, with a uniform, they deducted $85, right? And the uniform is just a shirt. It was just a shirt that the guy gave me. Remember I said I met up with the dude that trains the newbies, like some old Jamaican dude. It was cool, man, but he pulled it just like, he opened his trunk and gave me a shirt like it was a bootleg CD back in the day. You know how they used to sell bootleg CDs out the back of the trunk? He just pulled out a dusty old shirt from the trunk, and that ended up being $85. I will come to find out deducted off my check. I'm like, oh my God. So that's damn near $100 for just one shirt. It's under uniform, but it was just a shirt. It ain't like they gave me 2 shirts and 2 pants and said, okay, this is $85. No, one shirt was $85. So I'm like, whatever, man. You know what I'm saying? And then there was like 3 other deductions that threw me off, man. It was 3 other deductions. I forget exactly what it was. Something about time in deduction or something like that. And it's been a few months now, so I can't remember exactly. But hold up, y'all. They got a detour on this road that I gotta take. It's throwing me off now. I'm sitting trying to do a video and concentrate. So yeah, man. So it threw me off, man. It had like 3 deductions on there, and I wish I could remember the other ones. But the one I remember, and I can't forget that, was $85 for this uniform, aka shirt, that they took off my check. So in turn, and you know, I got, my paycheck was $300-something. So you gotta imagine how I felt working all them hours. You know what I'm saying? And I'm staying with a lady friend or whatever, and she worried about my well-being. I'm going all night and stuff, and I'm like, you know, it's okay, whatever, don't worry about it. I'm grinding, da-da-da-da-da. You know, I'll be okay. You know, I'm telling her about the security thing. I ain't gonna lie, she had a bad feeling about it. And women be, you know, sometimes they be on point with things because she a little older. I'm just like, man, you know, just let me do what I gotta do. You know what I'm saying? My first security gig or whatever. But she was right, man. She was right. And it's just crazy, man. Like, so that was my first bad taste that I had in my mouth with security. And then when I contacted the company about, like, you know what I'm saying, what's going on, da-da-da-da-da, they just like, hey, did you read the contract? Did you read the contract? They kept talking about the contract and stuff. So I go on the website, right, to look at the reviews on this particular security company. I'm talking about nothing but reviews that will give you a side eye. That will make you give them a side eye. These reviews were not the best reviews and stuff. Of course, then you see the fake reviews they got in the, they try to, like, you know what I'm saying? You can tell they fake reviews and stuff. But these are things I had to learn, man. You gotta really look into a security place, a company, or anywhere you work, and look at the reviews and stuff first. See, I didn't do that because I was new to it. So I was just looking at it like, I want to get the experience. I want to get my feet wet, and, you know, and just work my way up or whatever. Which I'm not dreaming to be some top tier security guard. It was just like, you know, it was I went out there and I took it upon myself to go get the license, and I just want to, you know, make a little way for myself, do something different, you know. But anyways, and I feel like there's some stuff that I'm missing, but I pretty much got ripped off. So that's pretty much the sum of the story. I got ripped off. They took way more money than they should have off my paycheck. And then I worked a total of damn near, I want to say almost 2 weeks. They tried to say they have no record of me working days that I did work. Because what I end up doing is I end up quitting, right? And I caught an attitude with some of the people on the phone and stuff at the time. And I think out of spite, they like erased some of my days and hours. I'm like, I kid y'all not. I know y'all thinking like that's illegal. Like, I kid y'all not. They literally, because I know I worked certain days and they tried to say I didn't work them days. And even like I said, my lady friend, she was tripping like, cause she remembered me leaving the house. And cause she, you know, sometimes she would call me on the phone while I was at work or whatever. Cause I ain't gonna lie, I was laid back. That's why I was kind of fucking with it. Cause like I said, you could sit in your car, take photos and stuff in your car. At this other particular site I was at. Because it wasn't like the college campus where I could just stand outside by the office or whatever. Or I can go inside the office and chill and relax or whatever. I ended up getting a girl number while I was, you know, doing that out there. But this other place, you know, it's a real complex, so I can't just stand outside and stuff and it just look creepy and suspicious. So I just sat in the car, which that might have been suspicious itself. You see somebody sitting in their car overnight and stuff. It ain't like I'm driving a official security labeled car. This is my regular personal car I'm using. You know, they see a young black man. That's another thing I didn't like too, was just certain things about the job, like I said earlier, about holding the phone up, taking pictures. I'm a young black man sitting in a car overnight. You know, from a distance, somebody might not know what's going on. They just see a nigga or a young black man just sitting in a car, you know, just I don't know, just sitting there. Anybody could feel some kind of way about that. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they got some kind of street smart. They want to know what's going on. So it was certain things about the job, man. It just kind of felt like they kind of put you in potential harm's way if you're not careful. You got to be careful with some of these security jobs, man. And then, but the main thing is when I didn't get paid, man. When you don't get paid, everything go out the window. It's like all the jokes and funny games and all that, that go out the window. Don't nobody want to be working for free. Don't nobody want to be working for chump change. Don't nobody want to be robbed of the time they put in. That's not a good feeling at all. Trust me, I was distraught, man, when I got my first. I only got 2 paychecks or whatever, and like I said, they were both ripoffs. They did not amount to the times and the hours that I put in. Not at all. And when I would talk now, the HR lady to this particular place, she was horrible, man. She sounded like a black lady, but she had like a Chinese name or whatever. But she sounded ghetto as hell, and like she was. When I reach out to her, she would just be like, well, you gotta talk to your whatever you call it. I guess the person that's in charge, your supervisor and stuff like that. But I'm trying to get some understanding from her, like, well, they submitting the hours to you in charge of the payroll and stuff. She's like, well, they said, you know, they don't have you accounted for this amount of hours, but I know I worked them hours. Bro, I was working overnight. You can't forget that. Working damn near from 6 to 8 in the morning. Like I said, that's about 14 hours, man. And with security jobs, you don't get no lunch break because the job already laid back itself. I guess, like I said, every 30 minutes, you gotta make them reports. So I ain't gonna lie, you got a little bit of leverage and leeway. If you got to, you can run to a quick corner store within 30 minutes, grab something to eat, run to a fast food if you didn't bring no food to work or whatever. Like I said, that's why I was fucking with the security thing at first, at least this particular place, because it was like, okay, you know, it's a perfect job for an introvert, a person that don't feel like talking to people. I've been on regular jobs, so you got to deal with coworkers and stuff, and you know, coworkers not your friends. You know, y'all know the slang over here. But no, coworkers not your damn friends. But it's like I like that aspect of it, but it's always a catch to stuff. It was always a catch. It was laid back, but I'm not getting paid. They was basically using me. And here's another thing too. They was trying to send me before I quit, right? What really did it? They was trying to send me to a place that was damn near an hour away, at last minute. I'm talking about on my day off. And that just reminded me, a couple times prior before I quit, they would call me on my day off, right? The few days that I had off, they would call me asking me, oh, can you come in today for a shift? I guess because somebody else that was supposed to go to that spot didn't want to show up or whatever the case is. You know, you got people trying to get over on the system or take advantage of stuff. You probably got like the veteran security guards that probably don't want to go to a particular spot, so they'll get the newbies to go to these spots. So they will call me on my day off, hey, so-and-so, can you come in, we appreciate it. And me being, you know, trying to be a good dude, you know, trying to set a good impression, like I'm a good worker, I'll take it on. And I'm thinking like, okay, I'm about to get that money. Fuck it, you know, grind, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, in the end, bruh, that paycheck the hours that I worked, it didn't show for on that paycheck. It did not. It did not. You know, to the point where I left bad reviews on the site or whatever. And there was other people that was reaching out to me, some girls and stuff that worked on that at the same place, asking me like, oh, you know what I'm saying? They did the same to me. How can we take these people down? I'm like, look, I tried to contact the what do you call it, the Department of Labor. I couldn't get in contact with them. You know what I'm saying? I even filled out a form and submitted it. They never reached back out to me. And it's been about 4 months now. So it is what it is with that. Very unprofessional, but it is what it is. They got away with it, and they're going to continue to get away with it. Because I see reviews from a few years ago. I see current reviews still popping up. This particular place is scandalous. But I've heard security, man, because I ain't gonna lie, my impression of security was like, it's a stand-up job. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking like, okay, this is something like professional, like, you know, I'm thinking it's like a job to make it look good. And it can be. There's good security jobs out there, I'm pretty sure. But it's just my personal experience with it. It put a bad taste in my mouth. And it kind of like, I ain't gonna lie, it kind of gave me bummy vibes. Because I ended up getting another security job through another company for a little bit. And it just, I don't know, it just gave me bummy vibes, like bums do security. Like, and it's not a knock on security guards or nothing like that. But I'm pretty sure, you know, because the other guy that trained me at this other place I was at, he was cool and stuff, man. But he was just kind of annoying, man. He just gave me bum vibes and stuff. And I just like, man, I don't think the security thing is for me. I just don't think it's for me, man. You know, I don't want to work in warehouses forever, but I think I prefer certain jobs over doing the security thing. I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, so that was my experience with the security thing, and I'm pretty sure I missed over several points because I'm kind of going off the top, and I'm pretty sure there's some things that I missed. But the main thing that really rubbed me the wrong way, that was a slap in the face, was not getting paid. Because don't nobody want to be working for free. And that's pretty much what I did. They used me or whatever. Oh yeah, so let me elaborate more on the situation. When they called me the last second, tried to get me to go to another a spot that was an hour away. They knew my address, right? And they called me and tried to tell me to go way out somewhere that was an hour or something minutes away. And I was telling the dude, I said, I don't think I can go in. So he tried to guilt trip me, tried to make me feel bad. Oh, we don't have nobody else to go out there, man. Come on, man, I'm counting on you, man. Da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said prior, they had called me on my days off, and I went in. And this is how companies take advantage of that. When you be too nice and stuff, sometimes working hard or working too hard, it don't get you cool points. It gets you used. You know what I'm saying? It gets you labeled as vulnerable. And you know, workplaces can bully you like that, to where they'll just overwork you and stuff because they know you're the yes man, the nice person. So this person tried to guilt trip me. Oh no, we need somebody out there, man. We don't have nobody else. So I'm saying like, nobody else? Y'all ain't got nobody else? He said nobody. He was saying, I don't care if you're late, you just go out there. Because I told him like, look, that place is an hour away from me. I gave y'all my address when I first started. I did the GPS thing. I looked at the distance and the length. It was about an hour away. He said, look, man, just go out there as long as you're out there or whatever. So I'm like, so I had him on speakerphone, so the lady friend listening. She like, well, ask him, are they gonna reimburse you for gas? You know, pretty much give you gas money for going out there, which is the right thing to do. I wasn't thinking like this till she said something. So I asked the dude, I said, so y'all gonna give me reimbursement for gas money? He said, what kind of car you drive? So I said, you know, I drive an old car, you know what I'm saying? So he like, oh, well, that could use about $20 of gas. This man's gonna give me $20 of gas, man. Which, okay, you know, it's not bad, but come on, like, it just the way he said it. He's like, he was downplaying. I give you $20 gas, you know. he just focused on me going out there, finding a way out there one way or another, you know, so I could cover the shift that nobody else apparently was able to do. Which I'm pretty sure there was somebody out there available to do that shift. They were just trying to push me to the limit to see what I'm willing to do, how far they could push me. So long story short, that day I quit. And I think I even got like a nasty text message from one of the supervisors, not the dude that was on the phone with me, but I think from one of the other guys that's kind of like in the same group with him or maybe under him. You know what I'm saying? Oh, don't ever, you're done, da-da-da-da, don't ever call again, blah, blah, blah. And I think it was funny is I think a day later they tried to like low-key reach out to me and ask me was I available for a shift. And I'm like, man, by that point I had already made up my mind. I said, nah, I'm good. What really did it for me, like I said, we'll put the nail in the coffin, which y'all not even paying me the full money. So it's like, look, what's the point of working for y'all? I'm good. So anyways, technically I only worked 2 security jobs. One with that company that I mainly talked about in this video, and then another one for another place for like, it was literally one day. I had to watch over this car lot. You know, like you got Ford and all these other places where the cars sit outside. The car lot, you know what I'm saying? I had to do security for a car lot overnight. And I dozed off a couple times. I was working with somebody else who was training me, and he was hoping I was gonna take the job. He was talking about how people always come out there and they run off and stuff, and so that's why he just stays out there. And I see why them people run off, because he was just doing too much. You know, part of the issue is you, man. You the common denominator. You running these people off. You setting these super high standards for this job that's only paying $14 an hour. Well, this job was paying $14.50. Still about the same goddamn thing. $14.50 an hour. You want us to write paragraphs? Now this place, I didn't have to take the 6 photos like the other place, but you had to take 1 photo and then you had to mark some stuff down on a piece of paper. I think every hour or something like that. But when he was demonstrating and showing me the stuff I had to do, he was just talking a lot. He was talking real fast. I think he was like a white Caribbean dude, real skinny. He was cool, man, but I don't think he's a good trainer. He's kind of intimidating, unless he was doing that on purpose, and maybe he didn't know that his training methods is probably running people off. But it's like, you doing too much. But what he'll say is, oh, you don't got to do all this that I'm doing, but you know, if you want the job to know that you really care about your job, you know, I would do it. And then he'll talk trash about the other people that he trained that acted like they didn't want to do his method. So you already kind of throwing people off. Like, you saying I don't got to do it, but now if I don't do it, you might talk behind my back. Like, oh yeah, you know, nah, we not, you know what I'm saying? But he had faith in me. He was really hoping, because he saw I was cool, laid back or whatever. He's like, man, I hope you really do this job, man, you know, because we've been trying to find somebody to come out here and take it over for the longest. And they come out here and train for a day or two, then they bounce, da-da-da-da. He said he loved it, but he just wants somebody else to take it over. So anyways, long story short, I was out there only one night, one day for that first day, and I ain't never come back. And I think he even said like, yeah, man, I don't think you're going to come back out here, man. You know, I guess he wanted me to like clarify and be like, yeah, I'm not. I just kept saying, I kept brushing it off. See, I say it's all right, you know, it's not the worst, you know. But you could tell, man, by my body language, my demeanor, the look on my face, I wasn't fucking with it. So like I said, I dozed off a couple times or whatever. He had to wake me up. I was in my car. He was in his car, like across the, you know, somewhere else, not too far from mine. And I was on my phone and stuff, you know, I'm on YouTube and stuff, and you know what I'm saying, I'm trying to stay up. I was just tired, man. He had to wake me up one of the times, knocked on my window. I woke up. I was like, man, yeah, you didn't see nothing, bro. I want to sleep. And he just started smiling. He's like, man, just, you know, don't tell me nothing. You know what I'm saying? He said, come on, let's do these walk-arounds. We had to walk around. We had to walk through every car lot. At the car lot, we had to walk through all the rows of cars and tug on the car doors on the handles and see if the door was unlocked. You know, stuff like that. That was one of the tasks out there. That was one of many tasks we had to do. And it just intimidated me. Like I said, it just, you know, and then the fact they only paying $14.50, it was just like, nah, I'm good, man. I'm not doing this for no $14.50. Yeah, like I said, you got the aspect of it to where, you know, it's only you for real, or maybe one other person. It's a perfect job for an introvert person that don't want to mingle and interact with other coworkers and stuff like that. But it is always a catch. Yeah, you may you may not have to deal with this, but you got to deal with this. You may not have to deal with that, but you got to deal with this. It's just like, it wasn't for me, man. It wasn't for me. And since then, I haven't really worked another security place since, because I ended up getting a, you know, just a regular warehouse job or whatever that I rock with for now. And, you know, maybe down the road, who knows, man. Like, I wouldn't mind doing a little security for a second job, you know. But it got to be paying at least 17 if I can manage that. You know, for a second job, I'll say 16, 17 at least. All that 15 or under is just a slap in the face to me. You know what I'm saying? I rarely do accept jobs that pay that less. Like I said, unless it's just the only thing on the table at the moment and I'm in desperate, urgent need of a job. But anyways, that was a quick rundown, or maybe not the quick, but it was a fairly quick rundown of everything that I experienced. Well, most of the stuff that I experienced doing the security job. Like I said, I might not be in a rush to do security soon, but it's a possibility I could do it again. And I just realized halfway through this video, I got my damn shirt on backwards. Do I? Hold up. Hold up. I think it's on backwards. Maybe it's not. It's on backwards. I'm looking at myself through the video like, my shirt on backwards. It's on backwards, man. But look, man, hey, I'm just, you know, hey, fuck it. But yeah, man, anyways, this your boy Interest, man. And hope you enjoyed the video. Hit like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.